Doing? What's going on? It's Thursday night. Do you know where you are? You guys are watching the Caliber Corner weekly edition podcast. It's 6 o'clock Central Time down here in God's country, Nebraska. And we are going to talk about the Walther PDP today, and then also some of its viable competitors that are out there. If you don't know much about the PDP, we will talk about it. I'll share my experiences with it. I absolutely love it. I'm not a Walther fanboy. It's the only Walther, I believe, that I own in the collection. And although I did have a P99 back in the day, and that was a good one. But anyway, PDP is going to be the point of discussion for this evening. But before we do that, we're going to let the panel go ahead and introduce themselves. We've only got an hour, so we're going to cover as much information as we can. Off to my right, we've got Chris from the 740. Chris, how are things going these days?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Man. Yeah, no problem. So we always got to get the channel plug. What's your channel all about? What do you do? What do you offer?
We do a lot of gun reviews, some USPSA match, put quite a few of our matches up on there. A lot of optic reviews, a little bit of reloading, and I do my Wednesday night live chats on 9 to 10 or 9 to 11 Eastern every Wednesday night.
So 8 to 10 Central Time for those of us that, that's right. I always want to say something mean, but I don't. So yeah, those of us who live in the flyover states that like it that way. Yeah. I got you, man. I got you. So yeah, and you got a great channel, and everybody make sure you check it out. Lots of great content, good podcast. And it's definitely a good time. So, all right. I appreciate you coming back, and any way you can contribute to this one, let me know. Do you own I know you got the Walther hat on, but do you actually own some Walthers? Do you compete with them, or what do you run?
Well, before I switched to PCC division, when I was shooting carry optics, I ran a PPQ M2.
Okay, cool.
And then excellent. I have a P22, and then I've got the PK380, and I've got the PDP Pro on order. I'm just waiting on my local gun shop to get it in.
Okay, yeah, the SD Pro, is that what they're calling it? Is that the PDP SD Pro or something? Is that? Yeah, it's got the threaded barrel, and I've actually got the link ready to go from the Walther website, and they also just announced that they're making the PDP, I don't know if it's just the original, in different frame colors now. Not that it's a big deal, but it's kind of cool. They got the gray and the OD green and the FDE, which I'm a huge fan of OD green. But so they do have that as an option. So I think you're gonna like it, man. The grip is magic. That's all I can say. The texture on it is just unlike anything I've ever held before. So
yeah, right. I got when the first PDP came out, I got one loaned to the channel, so I got to do an unboxing on it and a review. And
I gotta go back and watch your videos, man. I completely missed your catalog on this. I want to see this. So cool.
Yeah, absolutely love the PDP. It's a great gun.
Okay, awesome. And also joining us, we've got Squib Load with us. Squib, how's your evening going? You working hard, or you hardly working?
I came into a machine that was not running. Worked on it for a few hours, got it running. So hopefully everything else tonight is downhill.
All right, man. There you go. Got her up and going. Got her fixed. So, all right. And Squib is also joining us. Make sure you guys check out Squib's channel. He's got a lot of great content. Everybody needs to go over there and subscribe. Leave him lots of feedback, even if it's not even in complete sentences. And he'll be more than happy to reply. So I'm just messing with you guys. All right. Let's give a shout out to who's watching on the YouTube side here. We got Derek24, G23, Sam of Anarchy 92 is with us. I got a dog barking in the background. Blot 75. Let's see, DJ Play Nice is out there. Weston Probst is out there. And again, Defense Stat, if I didn't say so earlier. So real quick, just some quick announcements here. I always got to get this out. Thunder on the Prairie 2022 is going to happen. That is a little range day that Defense Stat and I are putting together at Nebraska Shooters, which is in Firth, Nebraska, which is just south of Lincoln, Nebraska. If you're interested in being a part of this range day, you can email me at thecalibercorner@gmail.com. And if you do that, I can give you the password that you need to get signed up for the event, or you can email DefenseStat at defensestat1@gmail.com, and he'll get you the password also. So the idea is to just get a bunch of YouTubers together and just do some filming, some shooting, have a good time, just kind of talk to each other. We see each other all the time on these podcasts, and it's not that often that we get together and have a good time. And with us being kind of in the middle of the country, we're kind of in the center of everything, so people can make their way out there. It's always going to be a good time. A little shout out. We've got some sponsors on board giving us some free giveaways. We've got Bear Creek Arsenal that has donated 2 uppers. I've got one. Defense Stat has the other one right now. Monstrum Tactical has donated 3 Prism scopes, which is really cool. They work even if you've got my astigmatism. We've also got VersaCarry, who's going to be donating some holsters to people that signed up early to the event, which is cool. We got a lot of other great swag going on. I haven't received it yet, But Blackout, not Black Rifle, but Blackout Coffee Company wants to be the official coffee sponsor for the event. So they're going to be hooking us up too, which is really cool. I've tested their coffee in the past. I've always had a good time with it. And yeah, so it's going to be a good time. So again, even if you're not a gun tuber, but you're kind of interested or you want to start a channel or meet some of the people, it'd be a great day for you. But please understand certain parts of the range could be tied up with people filming or shooting or just whatever kind of camaraderie is going to happen. And then after that, we got a dinner lined up and then a trip over to Shields to go restock before we head back home. So it's going to be a good time. All right. So hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, and then Caliber Corner for Saturday will be at 8 a.m. We'll be back to our normal day, normal time. Although I was kind of enjoying the Sunday thing. Saturday from 8 to whatever, 8 a.m. Central Time is going to take off. Don't have a topic yet, but we'll get it posted here soon. So I've got 2 days to do so. And we'll go from there. So, all right. So the Walther PDP, Chris, since you said you shot one, let's just get your take on it right now before I go into the specifics on it and stuff like that. What did you think about it? Like the balance of it, the trigger, what did you like? What did you not like about it? What did you think?
I love the frame because that was always my biggest gripe with the PPQ was the frame was pretty short in the hand.
Okay.
The PDP's got a little more length on the grip and that texturing they put on there is just awesome.
Yeah, they call it the Performance Duty Texture. So PDT. So it says developed by Walther to provide a premium yet functional grip. The Performance Duty Texture provides an aggressive surface to maintain proper grip to performance. I can't talk today. With its tetrahedron design, it is non-abrasive, so there will be no irritation to the skin or clothing of the user. Now, I don't carry mine inside the waistband, so I really can't comment on that. I just have an outside the waistband holster. But that grip is very, very unique.
Yeah.
What'd you think? You said you thought it was pretty good. Like the more aggressive you are with it, the more it plants itself in your hand. But it's not super like cheese grater aggressive like some of the FN pistols you might have fired before. If you've ever tried theirs, they use it which is good. It stays in your hand. But this stays just as well too, and it's not quite as nasty. So, yeah. What else did you like about it? What did you think of the trigger on it?
The trigger's really good. I didn't think it was good as the Canic.
Which Canic did you test it against? Just the regular SF or what?
The SFX, and then and now that I've had a chance to mess around with the Rival, their triggers are there. They're close, but the Canic edges them out just a little bit on the trigger.
Yeah, and I can't remember which one I used to have. I had the compact. I was TP9 Elite compact or whatnot, or SF, but not SF, but Elite or whatever. And that did have a really, really nice trigger on it. Man, it was very crisp. It was very solid. I feel like the PDP triggers maybe a little bit less heavy. It's just maybe not necessarily smoother, but it does have a pretty good reset on it. And it doesn't slap you like some pistol triggers might actually do. They call it the Performance Duty trigger. I think it measures in at about 5.6 pounds or something like that. But it really is a really good trigger. Apparently, it is parts compatible with the PPQ, although it has it has a shorter take-up than the PPQ. So I don't know how that works with parts compatibility and stuff like that. So
now the crazy thing is, and I'm not sure with the PDP, I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but I can take the slide off my Canic TP9 SFX and run it on the PPQ M2 frame. And it'll run 100% reliable.
Oh, wow.
And vice versa. You can take the Walther slide off and run it on a Canic frame.
But it was basically because the Canic was just a clone of the Walther, right? I mean, that's just kind of its origin, Yep. Which these go all the way back to the I can't remember this one. Wouldn't it be like the P99 is not kind of what these all kind of trace are? That's a great grandpa. Yeah.
Yep.
Now I take it back. I had the Smith & Wesson version. I had the SW99 because it was a little bit cheaper than the P99, which part of it was made in Germany and part of it was made in the US versus the P99, which I think was 100% German made. You do have ambidextrous, fairly large ambidextrous slide stops, slide releases. The only thing and there's some things I don't like about the PDP, so I'm not going to sit here and say it's, the greatest pistol in the world. There's a few things I don't like about it, but I'll definitely get into that too. What's funny about this is that police departments had tested the PDP, like Walther had been pushing for, because, they call it the Performance Duty pistol, right? A lot of the police departments that had tested it just felt that it was too kind of crazy. Some of the quotes that they use, like it was too much like a race gun, or it was too much like a competition pistol feel to it, and not like a duty pistol. I don't know if they expected it to have like a heavier trigger. Maybe that might have been part of it. but a lot of departments kind of passed on it because of the trigger. I just thought that was kind of unusual because Walther was really kind of pushing it for that kind of military, you know, / police kind of application. So yeah. Okay, so we'll continue checking it out here. And then it has what we call the super terrain serrations. So what's different about this versus a lot of other pistols is that the serrations are actually on the basically the outside essentially of the slide itself. They're more external. They're not cut into it as much as you get on other pistols. And so it makes it very positive locking in your hands, but you only need a few lugs essentially to make the contact you need to charge the weapon. So Chris, what do you think about the slide serrations? What are your thoughts on it?
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I got it out of the box, I'm like, that's definitely different. It was unique, but the more I messed with it, I liked it. I mean, it's definitely easy to get a grip on them.
Yeah.
They're aggressive. Like, I don't think I've ever seen serrations on a slide as aggressive as that.
Like they're not sharp, like, you know, like fine serrations like on a 1911 or anything like that, but they just like your skin just goes into them, but you can definitely, like, it doesn't take a lot of effort to charge it or a press check. Like, you know, it's there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird how they designed it, you know? I don't know. Squibby, what's your take on the overall design? What do you think? Is it a decent looking pistol? Is it just kind of overhyped? What do you think about it? A little too stylish?
It's plastic.
Well, you might change your mind when you get a chance to shoot it, though. You might enjoy it. So, yeah.
It needs a hammer.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be very cool. Yeah. So you do have different back straps, and I've got the actually got the box here. I can stop sharing for just a moment here. When you buy it, what I was impressed by is this friggin' briefcase that it comes in. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is a monster. Did yours come in a case like this too, Chris, or was yours a tester? I can't remember.
Yeah, mine was, but it was in that case.
Yeah. And then with it, you get 2, I believe, 18-round magazines, and you do get a little thumb loader, speed loader with it, and you do get your hardware and stuff, your screws that you need when you put an optic on it. So that definitely is a nice thing. Now, that's the one. Okay, so that's a pro and a con. It is optics ready, but I don't know if they changed it now with new PDPs that are shipping. If you get one, you actually get a coupon for a free base plate for whatever optic you want to put on it, so long as it comes from their list of optics to choose from. I'm sure they're adding more all the time, whether you want to go Hollow Sun or Trijicon or whatnot. You get a plate for free. Did yours come with an optic on it or not?
No, I had to shoot mine with iron sights. Yeah.
Yeah. How was your accuracy and stuff? How did it come out for you?
I thought it shot really well. I mean, normally I shoot with optics, so it was. But yeah, I've never had an issue with accuracy out of the PPQs or the PDP or even the P99s that I shot.
Yeah, it's one of the few that when I took it out, I mean, it was like, you know, like sub 1 inch. For me, that's, I mean, normally I'm like a 1 inch or inch and a quarter at, you know, 27 yards or whatnot for me, just typically with just 115 grain ball ammo. What'd you run through for ammo? Did you just do 115 or did you do like a 124, 127 or what?
I'm sure I shot some 124 grain reloads through it. I made that video quite a while ago. I'd have to go back and look.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, because it has been out for nearly 2 years now. So that kind of, you know, I was going to see if they have anything about, yeah. So red dot ready. It says all PDP models come optics ready, which is really nice. If I wanted to put one on there, I can. It says, if you want to keep the factory look, then you are covered with the included cover plate, which I think is metal. Each pistol comes with a free optic plate. You go to plate request, give them a bit of info. Mine actually has like a QR code that you scan or a code that you enter to get your free plate. And then there's already companies that are making aftermarket plates for it too. So if you don't want to wait for Walther, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to make a plate for it. And then you've got a couple different, but I mean, I thought the dots were fine. Some people complain saying that the dots are spread apart a bit much when they're all lined up. There's pretty decent gaps between the front and the rear when you actually have them lined up. And then with your barrels, what do we have? I think it's like a 4.5 inch and 5 inch barrel that you can get. Mine says 5 inch. And so I think you can also get maybe a 5 inch barrel with a 4.5 inch slide. So there's a couple different combinations. You can also get different frame sizes too, which is really nice. Definitely comes in handy. Let's see if they mention anything else about the, and then apparently you can swap different slides and different barrels if you want to. If you want to go with a different style, you can buy the parts and do it yourself. So it does have a little bit of modularity to it too. Chris, did yours have any trouble at all when you were shooting it or not?
Yeah, it ran 100%.
Yeah. I haven't had any issues with mine either. So, the only, let's see, issue I really ran into with it when I first got it, it had been out for about 6 months. When I actually bought mine from Defense Dad, he'd had it for a while, and he's got a lot of other Walthers and H&Ks and stuff like that. Magazines were definitely an issue to find because the full size model with the 18 round mag, I don't believe the magazines were shared with other models, or if they were, you couldn't find those magazines either. And so I kind of got into the forums a little bit, and people were complaining that mags really sold out when the first gun first came out, and there was nothing available anywhere. So I literally was 6 months of me just checking like every week, every other week, does anybody have them in stock? And then I just went to gun.deals one evening and typed in, Walther 5-inch barrel or full size 18 round mags. And sure enough, they popped up, and they're finally back in stock. They're about $35 a piece when you order them online for an 18 round mag. And I believe that mine are the Mekar mags, if I'm not mistaken. I think they make them for Walther. I don't know if I think the originals too. Like I said, the pistol is set up for its bedside duties with its light on it and stuff like that. So
I know on my PPQ I can run the Canic mags in it, but you can't run the Walther mags into Canic because the frame's longer. The grip modules, the grip's longer on that, so the Walther mags won't seat. But you can run Canic mags on the PPQ, so I'm sure you can on the PDP also.
Yeah, I know. And there's also a lot of companies that make spacers. If you run different size mags in it, also, if you want to do that, depending on. So the thing is, it kind of depends on which size of frame you decide to go with. If you go the PDP route, let's see. Gizzard Gary says, "I'm here, so please begin." Defense Dad says the weird version of the PDP is the compact frame with a 5-inch slide. So you get like a very short, stubby model with like this long. You want full. I mean, really, it's when it comes to concealment, that really the barrel's not the issue. It's the grip that prints essentially, depending on how you dress and stuff like that. But they do have some different ones out there. Question out there: do you guys like the Walther Q5 match steel frame? Any take on that one at all? What do you think?
I've shot it. I wasn't a fan of it. And the price tag on it I thought was ridiculous for what it was.
Boy, they ask them like $1,000 for it or something, or $1,300. So they're kind of going after basically CZ, like the Shadow, series and stuff like that, shooters or what?
Yeah.
Like
and
the
as
TS
much as I like
Shadow
Walther, if I'm going to drop $1,500 on a steel frame gun, I'm buying a Shadow too. So
yeah,
I'll spend I'll add a little more on, but it was a good gun, and I don't know. I ran it with maybe 100 rounds through it. A buddy of mine had bought one, but I wasn't $1,500 impressed with it.
I sometimes wonder about this. Now, the PDP's got a retail of $649, but I see a lot of them for $599, so they're basically on par with Glock in terms of their price. One advantage of the PDP versus the Glock is you can get for $600 an optics ready full-size gun, whereas if you want a G17 with an optics cut on it, or I'm assuming I don't know if they do the G. Is the G when it comes to Glocks? Is it the 17 with an optics cut or a 17 without? Do they make
MOS?
Is the MOS model the same as the G? Do they number it something else when it has an MOS on it or not?
I don't think so. No.
It's just a G17 MOS. So I know that's like $679. So if you're a Glock fan and you want the optics cut, you're going to pay about an $80 premium for it. So Kingpin out there, he's pushing out Chris from the 740s video on the PDP. Make sure you guys go over there and watch it. Let's see. We have a question from Sam of Anarchy. Do you have any attachments for yours, like a laser or flashlight or a combo of the two or a threaded barrel? I have a TLR1 HL on mine as a bedside light. It's been great. I did have to get the back cover replaced on the light after about 7 years of use. That was actually replaced by the factory, which was good. But I don't have a laser on it. I don't really do a lot of lasers. I do have a laser light combo flashlight from Olight that's on a different pistol right now, and so I don't have that on that particular gun. It's on my other gun. But you with that 5-inch, with what I have, the 5-inch barrel model, you've got a massive pick section on the front. That TLR1 just fits right on there with no issues. You got plenty of room for it. But if you go with a slightly shorter frame, it's not going to make much of a difference. So now Honda 420 says, I found a G19 MOS for $600. I was thinking about getting it versus the Canic race gun for the same price. That's kind of a tough one. I mean, granted, they're two completely different like platforms. Do you want the full size, 20 round gun, right? Race gun with like the flare magwell and all that stuff, or do you want a more compact G19? That's kind of. But then again, I shouldn't say that because here I bought the Shadow 2 thinking I'll just keep it as a bedside gun. I paid, I got it used for $850. So I'm like, I'll just keep it as a bedside gun. Then I'm like, well, trigger's a little light. It's a wonderful gun. It's hammer fire, but it doesn't have a decocker. That particular Shadow 2 doesn't. And if something would happen and I have to use it, that's going to go into an evidence locker. And I don't want the guys at the department enjoying my Shadow 2. So I'll just keep, some lower cost guns as bedside guns instead of a race gun, essentially, right? Let's see. Shout out to Raw Feeding 101 with the super chat. Happy Thursday. I'm on episode 99. So Raw Feeding 101, he's going back and he's watching all my old episodes of Caliber Corner, all the way from episode 1 up to where we are right now. So, hey, man, it's like the best free entertainment out there. So Squib was in most of those also. So, I'm still paying Squib royalties for all those past Caliber Corners that he did too. So, yep. So Raw Feeding 101, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Defense Dad. If you put a laser light combo, do you have to play Pink Floyd music and a smoke machine when you shoot it? No, but you can. Like, if you want to feel more tactical, it's definitely something you can do. So, Raw Feeding 101 with a question for us here. Do you think the Delta Ring tools for changing AR handguards are worth it? Seems kind of like a gimmick to me. No, I mean, if you have enough hand strength and arm strength, you can pull down on the Delta Ring. It helps have a second person help you split the furniture, depending on what you're putting on. I mean, some people might have, I don't know. Squib, do you use the Delta Ring at all? Do you need a Delta Ring tool or not?
No. Here's the deal.
Okay.
Take out the handguards every time you clean the rifle, and in no time you'll break it in. It's not going to work itself where it's loose and they just flop around. When I learned how to clean that platform, I learned how to clean on M16A2s that had been used from recruit to recruit to recruit. We clean them every day, and they came apart real easy. Out in the fleet, maybe it hadn't been handed around as many, but we cleaned them once a month, whether they needed it or not, and I didn't have any problem. Then eventually I get my own AR-15, and that thing was a lot of work the first time, but
yeah,
just every time, take those handguards off and go ahead and clean in there, light coat of oil, wipe it off, a little bit of oil right there in the D-ring, just work it by hand, and eventually it'll break in and you can just pull the thing back with a thumb and forefinger, and it's not a lot of work anymore. If you want to go get the tool from Wheeler, I don't know if anybody else makes it, you want to go get it, that's fine. If you're a gunsmith and you're doing a lot of these and people are bringing in, new guns and time is money, maybe, but it's not a necessity. It was an afterthought.
Yeah, I had one, and the only reason why was because it was like the first time I was changing furniture on the rifle, and it was incredibly, that Delta Ring was super hard to pull down. Plus, the other problem I had, it was almost like the standard handguard was almost like fused together. I could not get it to split, so I had to have, the significant other help split that as I was pulling down on the D-ring. Then after that, a couple times, like you said, it did loosen up, and I can do it without. But sometimes on a brand new build, it really is a pain. And if you don't have the arm strength for it, or you just want it to be easier initially, you can get the tool for 10 or 15 bucks. I have one. I mean, I've used it in videos and stuff to show people how to install AR furniture and stuff like that. So they're nice to have. But the other thing too is make sure you don't have any oil on the ring. If you do, then your hands aren't going to stay on. Your hands are going to keep sliding off, and you're going to have to sit there the whole time. But when you put it on, like once you slap the first part in, say you go with like a Magpul handguard, you can easily clip the second one in and just pop it on, or just barely pull down. It'll snap into place. So it just comes down to practice a little bit, and then you'll get used to it. I think that makes it maybe a little bit easier. So Squib's right on that. So
I mean, if you're trying to work it loose because you're going to change out the handguards one time and one time only, it's going to seem like a lot of work. But what's wrong with the handguards it came with?
I like the Magpul just because it was easier to put a vertical foregrip on it, and then have an M-lock. It was easier to mount flashlights and stuff, which is what was available at the time. But I do love a standard handguard. I mean, I think it does a great job at heat dissipation and so on. But and then me personally, it was just a style choice. I like the look of the MOE stuff better. I don't know. That was just me. But on some of my other builds, I've just kept the standard handguard. There's nothing wrong with it. So yeah. Let's see here. There was a question. Raw Feeding 101 gave us another super chat because he asked another question. So he's got an AR question here. And Raw Feeding 101 says, we'll get back to the PDP in a second here. Still new to understanding AR gas systems, and I'm looking at the AIM Sports M4 two-piece quad rail from PSA, and I'm wondering if it'll fit the PSA 16-inch carbines. Yeah, so I mean, I know Monstrum Tactical sells a quad rail, and I bought it before, And the ring on the front and the little notch or the ring on the rear and the notch on the front, they should just snap right into the delta ring. It should not be an issue. But there are some hand guards, like with what comes on the Bear Creek guns, this full-length hand guard. It does have a delta ring that has screw holes on it, and it does bolt in to free float the barrel as much as it can. It doesn't actually touch the hand guard, so it should just snap right into place. It shouldn't require anything special. If it doesn't, it shouldn't come with any screws, I wouldn't imagine, to stay together. I'm imagining it's just, I don't know, Squib, do you have experience with the quad rails? Don't they typically just two-piece go together in the delta ring and snap in? Okay, so he might be busy right now, but yeah, they should just snap right into place without any issues. So, you can always try it. I don't think it's going to be an issue. They're nice. I mean, it's easy for accessibility. You got a bunch of Picatinny sections on there. You can also put little plastic like overlays on the Picatinny section so they don't tear up your hands when you're shooting the gun, kind of like what I put on my Daniel Defense M4A1. So let's see. Go ahead, man.
Did you call on me?
Yeah, when it comes to quad rails, they're typically two-piece, right? They just snap into the delta ring and the front notch. They don't require just your traditional quad rail. Okay, that's right, man. So what I want to do is go over to Wikipedia real quick and just give you the specs on the PDP so you know a little bit about it. We'll take a look at the new one that's coming out. Mine shot great. Mine shot very accurately, sub 1 inch. For me, that was actually pretty decent. And ammunition-wise, I was just running like Fiocchi 115 grain through it. I had no problem at all. So it's not like it's set up to run like NATO spec where it won't run unless you run a 124 or a 147 or anything like that. So basic specifications on it. I was kind of surprised it was actually on Wikipedia because it's such a new gun. Let's see. It was designed in 2021. Unit cost is $649, but you can typically get them for under $600. Let's see. The mass, it is 23.8 ounces full size without a mag, 26.9 ounces with an empty magazine. I'd like to compare that to a G17 because it feels really light, especially with the 5-inch model. It looks so big, you think it's going to be heavy, but it's not. I mean, it's like all the mass is essentially up on top. It does have a slight high center of bore axis, so it does flip a little bit in the hands, but not much. Recoil is minimal on it because it's got a full, depending on the model you get, it's got a decent recoil spring in it. 8.5 inches for the full-size model. You can get it in a 4.5 inch, or 5-inch barrel length. Width is 1.34 inches. Height is 5.7 inches. I mean, it's a pretty good sized gun. I would say even the compact model is going to be a little bit larger than a G19, just as a comparison. Capacity is going to be 15 rounders for the compact model and 18 round for the full-size model, and then 3-dot iron sights. I believe the actual mounts for the iron sights themselves on the front dot are Glock compatible. So it should take Glock sights if you don't like the sights that are on it, which means it opens up a whole world of different options for you too, which is really cool. So again, that's just kind of the basic specifications on it with what's out there. I can't remember the warranty on it. I want to say it's lifetime. I know I might have to get the card out and get the manual out, but it does come with a good instruction manual. You know, it talks about cleaning and all that stuff. But you can just go watch my channel. I got a cleaning video on it already. You can kick back on the couch and pop some Cheetos and, you know, just do whatever you want to do. So, all right. So Defense Dad says the PDP is a great gun. I'd still have one if I hadn't seen my, what is it? Okay. I'd still have one if I hadn't seen my VP9L optics ready. Yeah. Yeah. I remember you saw that one, and that was one that you definitely had to have. So, okay. So Defense Dad says the quad rails will have screws to install. So again, you might have to just see what the manual says that you have to do. I'll stop derailing the Walther chat. No, man, this is just a gun chat, man. We just talk guns all the time anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So, yeah. All right. So Chris, you said you've got a deposit on or you bought a PDP Pro SD. You've got one coming?
Yeah, I was at my one of the local gun stores, and he had 3 on order. And, you know, that's all going to depend on how long it's going to take for him to get one. But he said that he would hold the first one for me when it comes in. So I said, just call and I will bring my credit card.
What are we talking here for price? Like 700 or 6? Are they going to run 650 or what?
I think he said 769 is what I was going to have in the full size.
Okay. One. Okay. I wonder if Walther's going to make that barrel. Somebody was asking about that earlier, threaded barrel. There may be companies already that offer threaded barrels but I wonder if Walther's going to offer it for people that already have a PDP. They're going to make that happen. So it does have it does have a different trigger. Now you haven't had a chance to hold one or dry fire one or anything like that at
No,
all.
not yet.
And I know that Colio Noir did a video, I think, on the Pro SD. I remember seeing it being shown off at SHOT Show. I was a little disappointed. It's like, man, they're already making a pro model and the original just came out, you know? It does have a flared magwell, which may be an aftermarket accessory. By the way, there are companies that make a metal backstrap and like weights for the magazine, so it'll kind of better balance out the gun a little bit, kind of weighs
Taylor
it down a little bit more in the back. What's that?
Taylor Freelance.
Yeah, they make the metal backstrap, and then I think they also make metal base plates for the magazines too. Is that right?
Yeah, I've got I love their base plates. I've got their base plates on my PPQM2 and their magwell. Yeah, they make great products.
Would you say that you've noticed much of a difference having that weight on the magazine? Does it help kind of anchor the gun back a little bit, or?
I didn't use it for that. I just use it for extra capacity.
Oh,
I got
okay.
+6 base pads on mine.
Oh, geez. Okay. Oh, I was thinking about the ones that just replace the standard size base pad. They just replace the plastic one with the metal one. They add like 2 ounces to it, or an ounce to the bottom of the gun, and then like an ounce or 2 to the rear.
I have those on my Glock mags, my 33 rounders.
Okay.
Just so they fall easier out of my PCC when I'm shooting competition.
Okay.
Just they do add a little bit of weight, yeah.
Okay. So here's what comes on that Pro SD. This is what you got coming. It does look like the rear sights look maybe windage adjustable, possibly height adjustable, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Somebody else jumping in here. There's Kingpin. Kingpin's coming in this evening. All right. So we'll come back to that in just a sec here. Kingpin, what's going on, man? What do you know? What's up?
Not too much. Good to see everybody. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, appreciate you being
Kingpin.
here. Yeah. What's going on, man? Are you much of a Walther fan or what?
Yeah, I've got the PPQ. Fantastic gun. You know, it's not the gun that you're talking about, but it's the Walther I have, and I hunted down for a while, and thanks to some people that you're close to, I have one now.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to shoot a PDP yet?
No, I have not.
Okay. No, I mean I haven't had a chance to shoot a PPQ, or if I had, maybe Defense said, did you have one? I can't remember. You'll have to chime in on the chat over there and let me know. I might have shot one. I can't keep up with all the Walther models, but they are very well built. I mean, they are very well finished, and I think they do offer a lot of value. They're a little pricey, but I think you're definitely going to get your money's worth with them. So I don't know. I've been really happy with it so far. I need to take it out and shoot a bit more. I will take it with me to Thunder on the Prairie. Now, one of the negatives about it, aside from the lack of magazines that were available at the time that I bought mine, which was 6 months after the launch, now that shouldn't be an issue because I'm seeing them all over the place. Holsters, man. Holster availability was 6 months ago very, very limited for this. Walther offered a couple different holster options. They were running like $70 or $80, and I ended up just going through, I think it was wholeguns.com if I'm not mistaken. So I think they're like $30-$35 for an external like USPSA or IDPA, whatever it is, compatible holster, made out of Kydex, really good brackets on it and stuff. So holsters are the one issue. So mine is carried, outside the waistband, but to me, it's not a carry gun because like inside the waist makes it such a big gun. I could, and I've got a holster. I've had a holster before inside the waistband for a G17, but it is definitely nice, to have it on the outside. It's easy to draw and stuff. So it's been good. Kingpin, is your PP, you said PPQ, is that right?
Yeah, I've got the PPQ.
Has that been pretty reliable for you? No issues at all? No recalls or anything like that on them?
If there's been any recalls, I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
And normally I get all my gun news from you guys. So
oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
if there was something going on, I'm sure one of you guys would have told me.
Yeah. Defense says you shot both my PPQ SC and my PPQ 45, so I have fired them. So I do have a little bit of experience with it. So on this SD here, what do you actually get with it? So it looks like it's got a different rear sight. It does have a different rear sight, possibly some windage and some height adjustability on the back, which is a premium. You've got the full-size frame with a 4.5-inch slide, 5.1-inch threaded barrel. So hopefully they'll make the barrels available. That'd be nice in the aftermarket. Dynamic performance trigger, so it does have a different trigger. Aluminum magwell. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit different than the regular PDP. 3 18-round magazines with aluminum plus 0 base pads. So, Chris, are you planning on competing with this one, or are you just buying it for just enjoyment?
Yeah, I probably will. I don't shoot much carry optics in USPSA. I'm always shooting PCC, but I'll shoot a couple matches with it. I'm going to have some money wrapped up in this because I'm testing a Romeo 3 XL red dot right now on a buddy's gun, and I'm in love with that dot. So I had no idea how much that dot cost, and now that I know, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be expensive. But that's what's going on that PDP.
$500 or what? Is that what you're thinking?
I think they're over $6.
Oh man. Okay, man. That's getting into like Trigicon money, isn't it? That's like
yeah, but you know the problem that when I got this open gun from my buddy, it had an SRO on it.
Okay.
And that's always been my favorite red dot until I shot that Romeo 3 XL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's now the durability, I can't say. The SRO is probably a tougher dot, but that Romeo 3 XL is got the most beautiful crisp dot I've ever seen. So it's nice.
Now, does Walther make a base plate that's adaptable with that dot though? Do you know?
I'm trying to think because I asked the owner of the race gun that I borrowed for the channel. Because I know some of them use the Delta Point footprint.
Okay.
But I want to say he said that Romeo 3 XL is using the Seymour footprint. So that might be an issue.
Okay. And I mean, it seems like there's always going to be a company out there that's going to answer that call.
Oh, yeah. Somebody will have it.
You could probably order a custom one if you need to. In fact, I think some of the early tests that I read, there were people that had to do that to run their red dot on it because Walther didn't have an adapter plate ready at the time for their particular dot. So I don't remember what it was. I remember reading an early review and like a tester that just went out, and the guy said, well, I had to have this machined up quick by my buddy or cost him like $100 for the plate. So that could be the one bad thing. Now you get a free one from Walther, which is a good thing if you got your coupon with it. If you're the not necessarily the original owner, but you've got the original coupon that came with it, you can get one, which is definitely a good thing. So back on this one then. Now the only thing that's kind of interesting, you've got your Pro SD Compact. It's got 3 15-round mags, and then it's got +2 base pads with it. So you've got a lot of different options. They also have 10-round models too, and some of those restricted states. So MSRP is $829, and Chris, you said you paid $760?
I think he said it was $769 is what my cost was going to be on it.
Okay. Now, just to address a comment out there that somebody had made over on the YouTube side, if you buy Canik, you don't have to look for a holster. It comes with one. It does, but man, the one that came with my compact model, my TP9 that I had, you like when you put the whole, it's a free holster. It comes with the gun. It's an outside the waistband, but you can convert it to inside. You'd put the gun in there, and then like the gun would move. Like it didn't have any, even if it was tightened, it didn't have like any tension on the gun. It would just like shake. You could shake the holster, and the gun would physically move inside the holster. So it wasn't like locked in like a good Kydex holster. So that was one issue that I had with the holster. I mean, I used it until I got another holster, which was again from, I think it was wholeguns.com who I went through for that one also. I still have the holster for that gun actually, so I'm going to have to look around on that one. So yeah, that Pro SD looks like it's a pretty decent little offering, and like I said, mine's been pretty smooth. And then here's the, let's see, Airgun 1776 says, I want a Canik. I've always kind of liked the TP9 SF model. I always thought that was kind of sweet. I remember when they were fairly cheap. Now I think they're pushing around $400. They used to be $299 initially, and then they kind of bumped up to $349. But yeah, I mean, just like anything, the prices have all gone up on them. So let's see here. Last thing I wanted to show you guys real quick. And then I don't know if this has even really been announced yet, but I don't know if anybody really cares, but I just want to show it anyway. The PDPs, it doesn't look like it's, they'll probably do the pros and the multiple frame colors now coming up after this. But anyway, they do have the OD green going on. So we've got, oh geez. So full size frame, 4.5-inch slide for $709. You got the two-tone with the green, and then they've got the gray frame. You've got the two-tone tan. And then you got the 5-inch model with the green, the 5-inch model with the gray, and also the tan again. And then they've also got their
like that gray.
Really? I dig OD green. I just think it looks kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it's cool too. Yeah. I just like that gray. It's different.
That gray is pretty sweet. It looks a lot lighter. It doesn't look like the sniper gray, which is like a pewter, This kind of does kind of make it look like, it kind of looks like a Canik sort of. Kind of reminds me of some of their models, but yeah, I kind of wish that, also I wish that it was the back straps match the frame, but that's all right. Kind of gives it some, some accents and stuff. But Really, the compact model is kind of cool looking too. I never really paid much attention to them, but they're decent. So they're charging though an extra, what, $50 if you want to go with a colored frame, which I mean that's not uncommon for some people, but it doesn't seem like it really seems to. You don't really get any other bonuses. It's just the actual frame color itself. But if you like that, now the compact in gray looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, there we go. So again, you've got a lot of different options. But again, it's been a really good gun, and you've got the ability to put your red dot on there, and you've got your accessories and lights and so on, which makes it a lot of fun. So now, help me out here, guys. What would be some of the competitors for something like that? What do you guys think would be a good alternative to something like that? That's not necessarily a Walther. What do you guys think?
Definitely the Canic rival.
Okay. Is that the Mete or Medi or whatever they call it? The MET?
Well, the rival's actually the one after the Meta now. So yeah, they came out.
Okay.
And that was always my biggest gripe with. I'm left-handed, so that was always my biggest gripe with Canic was they never put an ambi slide release on any of their guns until the Meta series came out.
Okay.
Or Medi or however they pronounce it.
Yeah, Metaverse. I have no idea.
That was one thing that I always loved about the PPQ was it had an ambi slide release on it. Yeah, DefenseNet said the VP9 is a direct competitor. That's true too.
True. Yeah. So here's the SFX rival. Have you seen this one yet?
Yep.
So that's $679. So that is pretty comparable to the price of the PDP. I notice it does have kind of that, they do have the same kind of lineage, both of them doing this. Yeah, obviously the Canics are based off the P99. You have that similar slide stop. Now, but this is ambi though, right? You said that was one of the issues was that.
Yeah, that one's completely ambi now.
Okay. And they used to not be.
Yep. Up until
I didn't realize
series.
That. And I mean, yeah, just like Walther, I mean, they do give you a lot. You get your cleaning set with it. You obviously got your. Looks like there's a miniature version of it in here too. Is that a keychain? They kind of copying Glock now, or what?
That's got all your. I think that's got all your like screws and stuff in it for your optic plates.
Oh, I got you. Oh, that little pistol right there. Yeah. That's what everything goes into. Okay, all right. You got a speed loader. You've got your magazines. I mean, they do offer. I mean, when I bought my Canic, I was surprised with everything that came with it because it really did offer, a lot of value for what you were paying. So.
Yeah, and then they've got the dark side edition of that too, so you don't have to get it the one with the gold on it.
So walk me through this. It's which one are we looking at? They got a second. Oh, okay. What series is that under?
So the rival, you can get it with the gold accents, or you can get it in what they call the dark side edition. And it's all black.
So it's weird. I wonder do you know which series off of here it's based off of? Is it part of the TP9S or no?
I think it's the TP9. I want to say they still call it the SFX, but it's the rival.
Okay. I was wondering if I click on that link if it was going to show the models. I had the Elite SC. That's what I had. That I had an all black, which was really cool, including the trigger. I mean, it's really good gun. It was just I wanted something a little more full size, but
yeah, that's the one I have right there.
Okay, how's that been for you so far? Pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's a great gun.
Yeah. And that's $549. So, and again, does offer a lot of options. That's a 20. Is that 20 rounds or not? Is that 20 rounder?
I think those are.
Yeah, 20 or 10 round magazines. Okay, and then a mount for a Vortex sight. Okay. And again, those are what, like $5.99. Now it says $549. Are they usually? Can you find them for $4.99 or not at this point?
I think you can now. I think the prices of those are driving down now because of the Meta series and the rival.
Yeah, and the Elite Combats used to push like 900, didn't they? I mean, I remember seeing them a lot more expensive, like 6 months ago or so. I thought they were like an $800 or $900 gun. They're pushing down in the mid sevens now, which is not bad. So, yeah, so definitely you've got a lot of options. Also, I was also thinking, there's going to be some M&Ps that would be comparable to the PDP. And then in terms of Glock, like your G17 and stuff like that, it's going to be pretty comparable with it also. So that's going to be definitely one that you needed. Yeah.
Mentioned the CZP10 series.
Oh, yes.
And then I'll just do a real quick mic drop for Squibby because he's probably can't get to the mic. Any 1911.
Any 19, even a 9mm?
Those don't exist.
Blasphemy.
Don't knock until you shoot one. So defense that, make sure you bring your Rock Island with you. You guys are gonna shoot that thing and you'll be like, oh my God, what have I been missing out? What have I been missing out? So just swallow your caliber pride and just enjoy the flat shooting, accurate experience of the 1911 chambered in 9mm. So
A 9mm 1911 would make an excellent target.
Don't push me, Squib. I might go buy a 38 Super with like gold accents on it, and
There's nothing wrong with 38 Super for a 1911. That's a traditional caliber for that. The 45 ACP is the primary, but 38 Super and 10mm auto are acceptable. Anything else, not so much.
Dude, I can't wait for them to come out 30 Super Carry in a compact 1911.
I think I just threw up in my mouth.
Yeah, that's gonna be like 7+1. You get one more. You can take it to 11 with 30 Super Carry.
You know
Oh,
what?
God.
9mm on a 1911 frame. Maybe if it's in like a compact version, like the commander style or the officer style, one of the small gun, small caliber. Otherwise, though, no. I mean,
no.
No. Okay. Do you remember in the 80s when they put the 4-cylinder engines in the Camaros and the Firebirds because of the missions, and it was like neutering them? Yes. Okay, that's what it is when you take a full-size 1911 and put.
So you're saying Defense Set has a neutered gun? Is that what you're saying? Defense Set, you're just gonna have to sell it to me now. There's no reason why you need to hold on to a gun like that, Defense Dad. Why don't you give me? I'll give you like $200 for it.
If I wanted a full-size 9mm handgun, I'd just get an M9.
True. See, that's the other thing too. We got Beretta. Would be another alternative to the PDP. When I mean, the capacity-wise, it's pretty close. Plus, they've got the optics-ready Berettas now, the 92s that you can go with. So that's always an option. So here's that Kingpin. You were talking about the P series, the P10F. Is that what you were thinking of? For CZ?
Yeah, or any of the P10 series guns.
Okay.
They got the full size and then the compact and different stuff like that.
I was going to check capacity on these and see what they run. So 4.5 to 5 pound pull. I did actually, when I met up with Roll Call 219, I got a chance to check out his P10C. I was really impressed with it. It was pretty nice. So yeah, your F has got an MSRP of $619, which isn't bad. But let's see, optics ready or not? Are they doing the P10 series with an optics cut yet or not? I know aftermarket it's available.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure about that.
Okay,
but
still,
that's got one. Like Rich White's got the P10C, but he doesn't put optics on this stuff. Yeah.
No, and I haven't either. It's just, it was nice to have with the PDP. I thought, well, if I want to kind of make it into a bit of a fun range tour or whatnot, that's always an option. So again, yeah, you've got a lot of other alternatives out there, but I'm telling you, the grip on the PDP is just amazing, and the back straps you can pretty much tailor to fit. I mean, it's pretty impressive. So Blue Steel 44 says, isn't a 9mm 1911 considered airsoft? They sell them at Target. I don't know. Maybe. Tommy Gunn says, I love my P10 CZ. There you go. Tommy Gunn says, Canic, one of the best triggers for striker fired, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm going to admit, what I had on that compact model was really impressive. For like a sub $400 gun, it was really, really hard to beat. So
Jamie Clapp brings up a good question right there. Do the Taurus guns, are they inferior to these other guns we've talked about, or does the Taurus G series guns, are they stepping up to the plate?
The G series, for what they cost, I mean, they're a good gun, they're a good beater, they're a good durable gun. I got a G3C just sitting right next to me here. The fit and finish, the refinement, I don't think it's going to be on par with, say, a Glock or a Walther Canic. I would say Canic Canic's, I would say, even has a superior finish overall to the Taurus guns. Like the slide finish and stuff on the Taurus guns, you can see where they save a little bit, although they do have a Tenerifer coating on the G3s. That's a tough one, man. I mean, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can get the G3 with the 17-round mags, or you get like a 17 and 215s with it or whatnot.
Did you say fit and finish and Glock in the same sentence?
Well, I'm just saying that, like you don't get the rough burrs on the inside of the molding like you do with the Taurus. You don't have the thin coating on the slide. So I mean, the Glocks when they're made, there's not a lot of machine marks on the inside. Like the finish and stuff it's consistent. The moldings look well done. The frame is rigid. It doesn't feel like, you know, I mean, Squib, you're into manufacturing. I'm just saying, I've seen, you know, cheaper guns with lower quality internals than what's in the Glock. The Glock's always been pretty consistent. When I take the slide off, you don't have like the burrs and the marks inside of her, swirl marks. It's, I mean, it doesn't, yeah.
Yeah. I got half a nerve to chisel out one of these molds over here and just start cranking out Glock frames here at the auto factory.
Well, I mean, when you deal with just a whole bunch of the different guns that I do, when you take the slides off and look inside of them, you kind of notice some differences with them and stuff like that. But, or even just the slides for that matter, the barrels. Like go ahead.
Vince Dad kind of said it there. He said, I keep in mind I like Taurus, but they are inferior to a Walther based on quality. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about the G series. And in fact, I think the G3C might be probably one of my favorite guns I ever shot that was under $300. It was an awesome gun. But yeah, the quality and the finishes, and yeah, they're not there with Walther, that's for sure. But I do like the G3. I love that G3C. It was a great gun.
My G17, you know, I put many rounds through it. Had it for my second one for about 3 or 4 years. After putting all the rounds through and stuff, I could clean it up. It still would look like it was brand new. I didn't hardly have any marring on the slide at all. The ejection port area was still in really good shape. I mean, it wasn't all beat up and chewed up. The frame was holding up well. I could clean it up. It would almost look like a brand new gun. No scratches in it or anything like that. Nothing falling apart. So.
Yeah, Jamie was saying he's new to guns. He's not trying to spend that kind of money.
Okay,
okay. Yeah, Jamie, you can't go wrong with that Taurus G3C. It's a great gun.
But do you understand the trigger pull with it being long? Did you shoot yours low and left or not? Chris, maybe that doesn't happen to you because you're a more seasoned shooter than I am. But
no, I wouldn't say that.
No? Okay, because mine, I tend to shoot low and left. But
it is. It's got a really long trigger pull. But it's got an excellent reset, though.
What? Not really the pull, just the break is so far to the rear. Your fingers are almost curling inward at that point by the time it finally breaks, which is nearly touching the frame in the rear. So that's why, you know, I mean, it's not. I like it better personally than the G2C or the PT111 G2. I thought those triggers were, you know, very notchy. But the G3C is a great, and you can always drift the sights. You can always move the rear sight to match. You can move it so it matches your style of shooting. And you can say, well, just learn how to shoot a gun or have a better grip placement. I mean, it's more about the physiology of your hand and what it does to the trigger at that point. It's really hard to work around that without compensating mechanically. I'm just going to say that right now. I don't have that issue with a lot of other guns that I shoot. And so that's probably why.
I didn't notice that much, I guess, when I reviewed the one on the channel. But I've heard, though, that it's kind of a 50-50 thing on those triggers.
Yeah.
So I did like the reset. I thought the take up was really long, but the reset was amazing on it.
It's got a definite wall. You know when it's going to break. It's definitely crisp. It doesn't notch or catch like the PT111 G2s that I owned or the G2Cs I've tested. So, Squib, you like this comment? Blue Steel 44 says they have the same fit and finish as the plastic interiors on today's American automobiles. I think he's talking about Glocks, maybe.
Yeah, well, that may be the case too. I mean, you can pretty much pump any sort of hot plastic into a mold and open it up and pull it out, and you've got a part. So, I don't know. I've got plastic guns. I've got plastic gun parts. I'm just not a fan. Yeah. I'm just not a fan. They work. You know, sometimes there's no way to get away from them, but it's one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So coming up with all this plastic crap is just, and there's other times where I like plastics for different things, but I don't prefer it, and I don't like the hype it gets. Everybody, oh, it's got this, it's got that, and none of those things mean jack to me. If I shoot one of these Walther guns at Thunder on the Prairie, it's because you're bringing it there and you're saying, hey, here, try this out. But if you said, are you ever going to go rent one, or are you going to go buy one? Not even interested. Not even, there's just so many guns out there to get all this hype. And because I don't know. I guess I'm just really simple when it comes to some of that stuff. And I'd like to comment on the remark about I don't spend as much money on guns as you, so I'm not spending that much, or something to that effect. All right, here's the deal. If you're new to guns and you're seeing the price and that's a sticker shock to you, price is a general rule of thumb when picking out a gun as far as quality, but it is not the end-all, do-all rule. There are inexpensive guns that are great. You're going to love the way it feels. You're going to love the way it shoots. You're going to love the customer support. You're going to love it. And then there are really high-priced guns that somebody will say, "Here, you want to shoot my $1,800 whatever, right?" And you go shoot it, and you go, "This thing's the biggest piece of crap in the world. I can't believe this guy paid $1,800 for it."
Yeah, yeah.
But it is a general rule of thumb. That's why a lot of people turn their nose at less expensive guns, because generally they are junk, but that doesn't mean they're always junk. Now, if you're new to shooting and you're not spending a lot on guns because you don't know what a good value is, and the longer you do it, the more you'll figure out what a good value is, whether you're buying it used and you're getting a deal on it or whether you're getting it new. But sometimes the newest, latest, greatest thing is not that good, or the company goes out of business, or everything gets recalled. And sometimes the old stuff that people, think is outdated still runs. It ran 100 years ago and it still runs. But you'll find what works for you. But I wouldn't discount getting something more expensive in the future. If you're starting off small and you don't want to spend a lot of money because of that, I get it. If you don't make a lot of money and you get into guns, you'll find a way to get the money. That's why I say put it on your credit card. You can always pay it off. But this stuff, it gets expensive and it gets addictive, but it's a lot of fun. So if you go cheap on everything, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get cheap. If you go expensive, you may not always get your money's worth. So sometimes when we're comparing guns in the same price range, it's not necessarily to try to one-up each other or anything else like that, but just understand that price is just a rule of thumb when it comes to guns.
And I would say, oh, go ahead, Kingpin. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be brief.
Yeah.
There's such a wide variety. The selection is outstanding on different types of guns that you can get that all function the same way. Pull the trigger, goes bang. So you don't have to learn something new because it's hammer fired or striker fired or revolver or 1911. And there's a trillion 9mm out there. Just shop around, find what you like, and if you like polymer striker fired guns, buy a million of them. If you like all of them, do like Squib said, save your money, buy a 1911. Save your money, buy a revolver. Save your money, buy one of the cheap 380 polymer.
Yeah, and then do understand, Jamie, if you can up your price point to say $400, that really then that opens you up to guns like the Ruger Security 9, which is a great gun, or what else we have, the CZP-10C. I think you can probably score one of those for 400, if not a little bit less. But I mean, yeah, if you want to get into like a nice full size pistol, it's going to offer you a lot. The G3, regular Taurus G3, 350 will get you a Toro that's going to be optics ready. I think it's 350 or 399. G3C is fine. I mean, it's a little bit smaller gun, but it depends on what you want it for. Just for an all-around pistol, or do you want it as a concealed piece, or do you want it? Also, kind of depends on your frame. So you're going to want to test a bunch of different guns out and just go with what works best for you. Like my daily carry is a P365, but I've got all these other guns. But my absolute favorite guns in the collection are the Shadow 2 and the SR 1911. Those are if I could only have two pistols, right? Those would be basically it. But they're significantly more expensive. You know, SR 1911 got mine for $700. They're $800 or $900 now. CZ Shadow 2, I bought it used for $850. It looked like it was brand new. They're $1,300, $1,400. So, you know, I just got lucky on some of those, but yeah.
We have a saying in the firearms culture. When it comes to inexpensive guns, buy once, sky once.
Ooh. Yeah, and Jamie, I can't I mean, you try what you want to try, but I've had negative experiences with Sky firearms. I'm willing to give them another try. I'd like to try their DX-G1, see if it runs, but I would say at minimum go like a Taurus G3C and then go up from there, or G3. I don't think you'd be too disappointed. So really, yeah.
She said that she can afford, I'm assuming it's a lady. If it's a man, I'm sorry. But Jamie said that they got $400.
Oh.
If you figure out how long it took you to save $400 worth of expendable money, and then determine how long it will take you to save $400 more of expendable money. So don't buy into the I've only got $400. I've only got 200 bucks. I'm gonna buy a Sky. Just keep saving your money. Keep it. And I understand everybody's gonna scream, but yeah, but what if they need to defend themselves? If you need to buy a gun overnight to defend yourself, you should probably call the police and have people with you because you're in a bad shape in your life. So that's not actually realistic. Almost everybody on planet Earth, or at least America, can wait 2 more weeks to buy a gun, 2 more months to buy a gun, another year to buy the gun that they want. Just keep throwing pennies in your little penny jar until you can afford to have that expendable money. Or, like Squib said, if you want to have something now because you're impulsive and you've got good credit, throw it on the credit and pay it off $50 a month.
Yeah, online there's a lot of gun companies that let you do a 4 or 5 pay plan on a gun. You can get the gun ahead of time, and they just bill your credit card 4 or 5 payments.
Layaway is still a thing.
Yep.
Most every store that I've been into that sells guns has a layaway program.
And if it's your first handgun, all right, then it's your first handgun. I would recommend that eventually somewhere down the road you get a second and a third and a fourth. All right. If any one of them is down for maintenance, whether you have to send it away for a warranty claim or you have to have it with a gunsmith, you've always got another one. If this one isn't convenient for this, summer carry, winter carry, or you've got a couple different calibers because there's a shortage on this year, but something else is available, or whatever it is, you'll eventually understand the reasons why people own multiple handguns that they use on a regular basis instead of just, and there's nothing wrong with collecting either. If you want to collect and the thing gathers dust, so be it. But the people out there who don't seem to think that owning more than one of each kind of gun is practical, they're just a bunch of tightwads. But yeah, if you need it that bad, that like somebody's going to kick in your door tonight, I would say, why do you live where you live? Or what kind of other things have you done in your life to bring this drama into your life? I'm not saying that it's never a scenario or anything else like that, but even then, if it's just the itch, all right, I've been wanting to do a speaking squibbish, the itch. That's why people buy Skies, because they got a $200 in their pocket, and that's the only gun that's at the gun counter for $200, and they go, screw it, and then they get it and they go, why did I buy this piece of crap? And the itch gets a lot of us. Kingpin talked about the impulsive buy. Yeah, almost all my firearm purchases are impulse buys. But I also know how to manage my credit well, so I don't eat it in interest. And all of them have gone up in value. So no matter what I paid in interest, I'm laughing all the way to the bank 20 years later going, this thing's worth 4 times what I paid for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there are ways that you can, if you're looking at this financially and you're trying to justify it in your mind, there are ways to justify having multiple or doing this or doing that. But he's right. If it took you so long to save up $400, now you have a good idea about how long it would take to save up another $400, and now you've just doubled your options on choices. Go out, rent some guns or something. Try a few things out before you spend the only $400 you got, and now you're waiting to save up, 5, 6, 7 next time, right?
So what Jamie says is it's not because I don't make a lot of money, but Jamie says, but I got my first pistol on trade and I want to buy another. That's what Jamie was saying. So I just want to get that out real quick. Yeah, go ahead, Kingpin. Yeah,
Jamie, the best thing, because I'm rather new into it too. And I was super green coming into buying guns in the quote unquote gun culture. After you get your second one, it gets a whole lot simpler. And one thing to learn about these chats is when you come and ask questions in these chats, people are going to pick you apart and say, well, you got to tell me what you're going to shoot it with. What kind of paper target? What's the wind? Is it what elevator? They're going to ask because these guys are super gun nuts. So don't get overwhelmed in that. Like when you ask a question and we go down 15-minute rabbit hole about asking you questions about why you asked your question, don't be worried about that. That's just something that these guys do because this is what they love. You know what I mean?
One day he'll do it too.
There we go.
It gets easier. It gets a whole lot easier. Don't worry.
Quick question here real quick. Raw Feeding 101 says, has anyone on the panel heard about the trigger swaps on the G2Cs being difficult? You're going to have to watch some videos online and see what you think about it if you're going to be comfortable doing that kind of a modification. What do they say about breaking parts or replacement parts? Or, once you push the pins out, are the pins going to go back in to keep the trigger group in place? Really watch some videos or just inform yourself on a trigger swap before you decide to do it, because you might get yourself in over your head or break something and then find out you can't get the part or the gun's got to go in for service. So just be careful with that. I've never done a trigger swap on on really anything. Now that I think about it, I've never really needed to. There's been some guns I wish I could have, but the only thing I've ever done is like change the hammer spring on my Shadow 2, and that was a piece of cake. But I can't speak on the trigger swap.
The TX22 is the only Taurus that I've done. There was a couple difficult parts. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Keep in mind too, if you're new to it, if you replace that trigger and then you have to send it in for warranty work, you better put the factory one back in before you send it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, the other thing, we had mentioned the use case defense. Said you had mentioned that check the use case is a good place to go to save some money, but also maybe keep in mind what's the warranty coverage on that gun. If you buy it and it won't run anything and it's a jam-o-matic or there's something wrong with it, I mean, it should work from the gun store when you take it out to the range, but if you can't take it back to the gun store and you got to send it in, like locks, if I'm not mistaken, you guys can fact check me on this. You only get a 1-year warranty with it, and it has to be registered by the original owner within 30 days of the date of purchase. Now, I've never had to send anything in a Glock to get it fixed, but I don't know if they honor the warranty if you have it for a couple of years. Like, yeah, I got a broken whatever. I'm like, well, did you register it? Well, no. Okay, we only have a 1-year warranty if you're the original owner. So really be careful. Like guns like Smith & Wesson and Ruger offer lifetime warranties. I think Sig Sauer also does, Sky does, and High Point have lifetime warranties on them. Walther, Taurus now has, they've had lifetime warranties. They've kind of shied away from it a couple of years ago, but they're back full force with lifetime warranties regardless of the owner. So they're there if you need them, just as kind of a heads up. So
you don't need a warranty on a Glock.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, you don't need a warranty on a Glock, not because it's a good gun. It's because most people, when they get one, they take everything off of it and replace it with better parts anyhow. So just saying.
No, I'm just saying, but if somebody buys it, if they buy a used one and it have a problem, or say it's got a crack in the frame, or something breaks and they don't know what to do, generally they're easy enough. You should be able to basically repair them yourself. They come apart fairly easily, and there's always a walkthrough to replace that spring or that lever or whatnot. So,
but I'm just saying, like as well as I do, that you're getting these brand new, almost never been fired guns that were they were sold back by new gun owners that bought during the pandemic that. Yeah. Maybe you've had a magazine or two, and you can save yourself a lot of money over buying a more inexpensive new gun.
Yeah. YNH pretty much states that for us 4 or 30 handguns is completely acceptable. So just, whatever your budget allows. I mean, I don't need a $650 bedside gun. I didn't have to buy the PDP, but it was, it was very cool. I like the capacity. I like the option of the optics. I like the kind of just the rugged look of it, and just something that looks like you can take a beating and keep running. There's certain things that appeal to me about the gun, so that's why I bought it. But
like I said, I never would have sold that PDP if I didn't already have 2 PPQs and I didn't drool over that VP9 as soon as I saw it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I still have it. It's a great gun.
So Jamie says, I haven't heard of Sky, but I've been told to stay away from High Point. So Sky is SCCY. Now, again, if you watch some of the newer videos, we have friends that, like Clover Tack and Ghost Tactical. Those guys have tested the Skies recently, and they have been reliable for them. They've tested them at SHOT Show and stuff like that. And so at the range day, the High Point, the magazines are a little bit finicky. That's one thing about the 9mm. I had a 45 that was just ran anything. I had a 45 ACP High Point that was a beast. So yeah, it might make sure you definitely put a couple hundred rounds through it, break it in, just make sure it's going to run the ammunition. Definitely run a box of your defensive ammo through to make sure it's going to function with that. And then after that, stock up on your ammo whenever you can. So you've always got stocks of ammo for it. I would not stay away from a High Point. I've had a 9, I've had a 45, and I currently have a 9mm carbine. So I have no problems with them, but I know people can mention the magazines can be finicky. So I don't know.
I'd buy a High Point way before I buy a Sky.
Well, the only issue I had, the Sky, mine ran good, but I started having frame pin issues, and it wore out within 1,000 rounds. And then the triggers are super heavy on the Skies. They're like I want to say like a 10-pound trigger, and it's a full double action pull every time with a long reset. So that's one thing I didn't like about it. But they've got the new models out now too. They've got the Striker Fire DXG or DVG1, DXG1 or whatever it's called. So
I have never shot a High Point pistol.
There you go. Video right there. Video from the channel.
I have 2 of their. I have their 9mm carbine and their 10mm carbine, and I love their carbines.
Once they come out, the Gen 2 or whatever Yeet Cannon G2s, when the new ones come out, the old ones are going to be collectibles. You're going to be seeing them for just like Mosin's. 20 years from now, we're going to be talking about those High Points being boat anchors, and they're going to be $500-$600 guns. ooh, I got an unfired Yeet Cannon G1. Yeah, you know, you better hurry up and get one, dude, because once the new ones come out, you know. Of course, High Point hasn't really changed their designs in 25 years. I don't see it changing much anytime soon. So I don't know. So guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Let's see. Chris, help me out here. Do we have a show tonight? Is Air Guns going to be going live? 1776.
He's going on at 9 Eastern tonight.
So 8 o'clock Central. Okay. And then we've also got let's see, Sandhills Media is going to be doing the Get Off My Lawn podcast. He's got people from the DC Project that are going to be on there tonight. So you guys go watch what you want. Go watch them all. You know, subscribe to them, like them. They'll be right there on your subscription list to go back and catch up on them when you can't, if you can't. But that's pretty much about it. So just a little talk about the PDP, my experiences with it. Would I recommend it? Yes, it's been a great gun for me. I mean, there's a lot of other options out there, you know, the same price or cheaper, but I just enjoyed it. Something different. I really like the grip. It's a lot of fun to shoot. Again, like cons are going to be lack of holster availability right now. Or if you go with a new model like the SD model that's coming out there, their Pro model, you know, you might have something custom made or try to hunt around for a holster. But otherwise, it's been a great gun. So again, Thursday night episodes are dedicated to guns that I've shot before or tested, and the panel may or may not have, but it's always good to get their feedback too. So, all right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We will let Kingpin go ahead and give us his closing words. Anything you want to say?
Everybody have a good night. Thanks for having me.
Right on, man. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you. All right. Aragun said no 9 o'clock show. Okay, just as a heads up. So, Jamie, here you go. So, Chris, why don't you put that in there since you got your blue mod wrench last week? Jamie Clapp says, Chris from the 740, do you have a channel on YouTube?
Yeah, I threw him a link out there.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yes, Chris does have one. Everybody, if you haven't subscribed yet, get over to Chris from the 740's channel. Make sure you subscribe and, you know, definitely support this guy. He's got a whole other little sub gun community that he belongs to that, you know, we can all mesh together and build our community even stronger. So, okay, and final words. Squib, anything you want to say before we go?
No.
All right, man. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for the feedback, for the input. It's always good to have you, man. All right. Let's see. Chris from the 740. Anything you want to say before we go?
I appreciate you having me on. The side chat was awesome tonight. This was a fun show.
Yeah, we had all kinds of stuff going on over. Like I said, it was a little bit limited, especially if nobody had any experience with that pistol. But I'm glad you did, and you know you can maybe back me up on it that it really is a good shooting gun, and it really is a smooth shooting pistol. So, all right, cool. And let's see, am I missing anybody? Last but not least, Defense Dad. What do you know, man? What do you want to say?
Hey, thanks for letting me jump on the last little bit after I got off work. Yeah, good show. I wouldn't say specifically when you're talking about holster, though. It's only the 5-inch you can't find holsters for. The 4.5 and the 4, if anybody's looking, those are readily available.
Yeah, that's okay. So let's just go back on everything I said. If you get the 5-inch model like me, that's the one where I had trouble. I had one option from wholeguns.com. Otherwise, it was going to be like an $80 holster that Walther offered through somebody else, and it wasn't really a style I was interested in. So yeah, the 5-inch model, 4.5s are much more prevalent, so that should not be an issue. And then what do we say, 4, 4.5, and 5? They make 3 different barrel lengths, I think. Right. Or is it? I don't know. There's all these different combinations. You guys pick out whatever works best for you. They've got long slide, short slide, full size frame, short frame, whatnot. So yeah. Blue Steel 44 says, is Caliber Corner still on Saturday? Yeah, we'll be Saturday at 8 a.m. I don't have any work obligations this Saturday, so we will go live at 8. Not sure about the topic, but we'll pick something fun. We'll definitely have a good time. So otherwise, I think that's about it. So let's give a little shout out to everybody on the YouTube side for watching. Little Y&H is out there. Blue Steel 44, Chris from the 740, Raw Feeding 101. I was over there apparently. G23, Sam of Anarchy 92, Eduardo Espinosa was out there. Kingpin, Air Guns 1776, Jamie Clapp. Jamie, welcome to the chat. If this is the first time you're watching, or maybe you've been listening for a while, if we didn't recognize you before, welcome to the circle, man. Tommy Guns out there. M. Gabriel's in the house. Let's see if we missed anybody. My Sore Bicep says, better buy a better pistol than a Sky and save $50 by a High Point. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Who else was out there? I think that's about it. We had a pretty good chat going on over there. Yeah, that's all. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Caliber Corner Weekly Edition, where the point of the conversation this evening is a Walther PDP. If you have one, chime in the chat box down below on this video when it uploads, and definitely leave your feedback on that pistol. Let me know what you guys think. All right. Okay, I want you guys to have fun, be safe, and as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys. Have a good one. Peace.
Bye, Alicia.